Hello and welcome to the weekly K-State Collegiate Sports Vlog. I am the K-State Collegiate Sports editor, Tim Everson, and I am here with...
Andrew Hammond, the football beat writer for the K-State Collegian.
And just like every week, we're going to be talking about K-State sports and what to look for in their matchup this weekend in Stillwater, Oklahoma versus the 20th ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys. Now, Coach Snyder had his weekly press conference on Tuesday. Did we find out anything of note about this team, or are we really on the job learning here with finding out about this?
You know, with this team, since it's a young team and an unproven team, we're still kind of in the process of getting everything together. However, we did learn one thing, actually two important things. They got better during the bye week, which I think everybody, does get better unless you're KU.
Or any,
You'd hope. But then we will not see Dante Barnett, and not for this game against Oklahoma State, and really for the near future.
Yeah.
The All-American candidate to begin the season has only played maybe just a few plays, if any. So.
It's a real shame going down in that South Dakota game, but Coach was actually pretty, I'll say, chipper.
Loose
is a good way to put it in the press conference. Really seemed to be happy with the progress that the team made over the bye week, which has to be good. I mean, they are a work in progress. This Oklahoma State team is pretty good. We'll get into them a little later. I mean, it's just been a real kind of learning and growing experience so far.
Yeah, and I think it's due to the fact that Coach Snyder feels comfortable. He feels comfortable in knowing that this team they're young, they're unproven. It's not one of those where a team is struggling to get together. You're seeing the effort out there. It's not like this team is lacking any effort. It's not like this team is lacking any, it's not like, we're having to break bad habits through games, really. And you're having to fit guys in places that either one, maybe they aren't used to, or they're playing at a top level in a Power 5 conference. So it's still a bit of a learning process, and I think Coach Snyder is comfortable in knowing that. And yeah, he seemed a little bit more comfortable than I figured he would. So I don't know if he knows something that nobody else knows around here, which has happened before.
Well, some would say that that's all he does. He knows more than all of us.
But it was more optimistic this week.
No, I would agree. I mean, 2 weeks ago, because last week with the bye week, we saw a lot of positives, some negatives. Got our first 100-yard rusher of the season with hashtag free Justin Silman.
Yes, we did. It worked.
Obviously, it was all because of our crying and about it.
We are social media activists. Hashtag free Justin Silman.
Exactly. However, we still have not gotten an interception on the season. Probably the biggest downfall of this team so far, especially in the secondary. My biggest worry. What are your thoughts on that?
The secondary, and I've said this plenty of times, the secondary play from this team is what's going to determine the fate for this team this season. And really it starts in Stillwater on Saturday. If the secondary can stop or at least temper a very talented, very physical Oklahoma State wide receiver core, the Wildcats may have a shot in this.
Exactly. All right, well, we're going to be right back to talk about the Cowboys a little bit more in depth and behind enemy lines. We'll be right back. And we're back, and we're about to go behind enemy lines to talk about K-State's opponent this week, the 20th ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys. Andrew, what do we know about this Cowboys team? They're pretty good on both ends of the ball.
Very good. I think a lot of people really didn't understand how good this team was at the beginning of the year. I mean, we knew that they were young last year. They struggled, went through some growing pains a little bit, kind of like this K-State team, but now they're back. They have a lot of veteran leadership on that team, and really they've kind of been a surprise nationally. I think in the Big 12 area, a lot of people knew how good this team could be, but they're very talented. They are fast. I was watching film on them against Texas this past weekend. Tim, when I tell you that even the referee is not is not subjected to getting sped up by this offense, there was at one point in the game where the referee was trying to give the Cowboy offense a chance to, get set. Oh, no. They snapped the ball like right while the referee was near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they don't.
I'm
they
like,
don't-
what?
yeah.
What in the world?
They definitely don't mess around in the up-tempo offense. One, of course, Mike Gundy's really adopted that fast-paced go offense. Something that K-State honestly is pretty used to at this point, having to face 4 or 5 of them every year. But of course, that offense is led by sophomore quarterback Mason Rudolph, who came in the end of last year after they were just stricken with so many quarterback injuries. Whatever, he steps up and he takes over and he's good. He leads them to that big win over Illinois in their bowl game last year. Wins the job over J.W. Walsh this year, and really has been pretty solid so far.
He's been pretty solid, and we saw some J.W. Walsh last week against Texas in some very critical situations. So I think that's one thing that the Wildcat defense, which is no slouch themselves, that's something that they're going to have to deal with this week.
Yeah, having those 2 quarterbacks. Of course, Walsh is the more mobile guy, but honestly, I heard Gundy and I heard Coach Snyder say almost the exact same quote whenever it has to deal with the 2 quarterbacks, is that they could take 80 snaps a game or they could take 8. It all depends on the situation. They're almost interchangeable in a way. I think Rudolph's been more consistent. He has the better arm. He is top 10. Actually ranks number 10 in total yards passing in the country. He's top 20 in efficiency and yards per attempt and
He's
yards
good.
per completion. He's going to be a problem, especially with the secondary that K-State has. That's kind of been a struggle.
Patchwork.
Yes.
It's really a young patchwork secondary.
But I do have some good news for you.
Okay.
They can't really run the ball that well.
Oh.
Yeah, they are. Justin Silliman had his first breakout game last or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He already has more yards per game than Oklahoma State's leading rusher, Chris Carson. Oklahoma State cannot run the ball as well as, and they haven't played anyone good. They played UTSA. Now they beat the living bejesus out of them, but it hasn't been anything good.
Well, and really that was due to their defense, which has really come on as one of the best units in the country. But once again, and it's kind of like K-State, we haven't really seen them play. I mean, Texas last week, but Texas really isn't that good. So is it more Oklahoma State are they getting a little more credit than they deserve, or is Texas a little bit better? But yeah, I mean, with Central Michigan, UT San Antonio, and who was their other opponent?
There was a third small school.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was not anything, but that defense led by Emmanuel Ogba, one
they're
of
good.
the best pass rushers, not in the Big 12, but in the country. He leads
They
the Big 12 in sacks
are
at 5.5.
good.
On the other side of the line, you have a guy that's almost as good, in Jimmy Bean, who has 4 sacks so far.
And that opponent was Central Arkansas. So
there you go. I mean, sorry there.
Sorry, Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Love you.
So, but this defense, secondary, they've recorded 4 picks so far this year. It's been, I'd say, fairly decent. They let Gerard Hurd in Texas kind of pick him apart a little bit as best he could. He's not really that great of a passer yet. He did okay. Texas really doesn't have the weapons, but they're
neither does K-State.
That's the thing, and neither does K-State. So it's definitely going to be a challenge. Special teams, nothing crazy. They do have the reigning special teams player of the week, and Ben Grogan, their kicker. He made several clutch kicks against Texas, including one that had to be moved back 5 yards after fucked up now.
Cool.
Shame on you. Okay, where were we at?
Continue.
Who made
That was
several?
your timer, but continue.
Yeah, no, but we'll cut the next one shorter because this one had to go longer.
Yeah.
Who made several clutch kicks against Kansas, including one that had to be called back after a. There we go. Started a chain reaction. What was it? It was delay of game. There we go.
We got this.
Who made several clutch kicks after a delay of game penalty, took one back, and he had to re-kick it, and he made both. I mean, they have some weapons. Oklahoma State is good. I'm just not totally sold on
We
it.
don't know how good they are.
Exactly.
I think Texas maybe gave us a sense somewhat, but once again, it was your first true hostile road test because I'm not sure you can call Central Michigan a hostile road test,
I don't
and
know
even Texas isn't a
I
hostile
don't know if
road
you can call
test.
Austin, Texas hostile.
Well, depending on if you're in a bar or not.
Oh.
But I think we're going to learn a lot about this Oklahoma State team and a lot of these teams in the Big 12 over the next 2 weeks.
I agree. All right, we're going to come back to K-State in our next segment where we're going to figure out what's right and what's wrong with the Wildcats. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back with the K-State Collegiate Sports Vlog. Just like every week, we're going to throw out a couple statements about this K-State team, and Andrew and I are going to decide whether they're right or whether they're not right or wrong, as it's sometimes known as. All right, Andrew, first statement that we're going to look at.
All right.
K-State can win on a Saturday without causing a turnover. Of course, talked about, have not recorded an interception, had a couple fumble recoveries so far. Can they beat Oklahoma State without getting a turnover?
Wrong! No, they can't. They need to get a fumble, an interception, something to give them a short field, which is ironic because they struggle operating in a short field. But yeah, you're going to need some type of opportunity to kind of steal a possession, maybe steal a possession or two on Saturday because especially on the road in a tough environment, that offense is going to need all the confidence it can get. I mean, the defense is doing their job. They're one of the best defensive units in the country, but the issue for them is they don't have that one big turnover. They don't have that interception. They don't have, an opportunity to give them immediate good field position because they've had to work. So, no, K-State cannot win this game without without creating a turnover.
Yeah, one of the big kind of downfalls of the up-tempo style of offense is that it's sloppy. Just because you're going so fast, you have so many things going on.
If it's not run correctly,
Yeah.
it can be sloppy.
Exactly, and honestly, it often isn't run correctly, or at least for every possession, it's not
Yeah.
run correctly. They took advantage of it against Baylor. They've taken advantage of it against TCU last season. Of course, they didn't win that game, but they made the team make mistakes, and they capitalize off of that. And Oklahoma State isn't nearly as good as either of those teams. If K-State does want to get a win on the road, they need to get an interception, fumble, or both, or several, or five, or
If they can just get one early on,
yeah,
oh man.
a tone setter. They got it. Yeah.
If you can
exactly.
get one on maybe the first 2 or 3 possessions, maybe after, you've had to punt or something like that, or a 3 and out, or a sustained drive. If you can just get some type of confidence going for that offense, because they need a lot of confidence, because it's
not
going to be
there
hard.
yet.
They cannot. Unlike, I'd say there's 3 teams in this conference that cannot go score for score. Kansas, Iowa State, K-State.
And the only difference between us and those other 2 teams is
They're good.
and K-State has a defense.
True, like what he said.
All right. Second one that we're going to hit up, the trip to Stillwater is the most important road trip this season for the rest of the season. Of course, they're going to head to Lubbock. They're going to head to Austin.
Yes.
And they're going to head to good old Lawrence, Kansas.
Well, I wouldn't say good old, but yeah. I would say, yeah. I would say this is the most important trip because not even those games on the road. Let's run through what K-State has next after this. TCU at home, OU at home, at Texas, which that Texas team, that's either a school bus fire or a very dangerous bowl-bound team. Then you have Baylor. Then that trip to Texas Tech, not easy. You're going to need a win out of that group. And there's no better way to start off establishing yourself going, if you get out of this game undefeated and with a win, oh my. But if you lose, and you have the rest of that schedule to deal with, tough sledding from there.
Yeah, see, I agree with everything you say there, but I'm going to have to go with wrong.
Oh.
And I'll tell you why. This is a top 20 team. K-State is not a top 20 team. They're not going to be anytime this season. It's just not there yet for this team, which is why they're not supposed to win this game. They get this, it's gravy, whatever.
Okay.
However, when you go to Austin in a team, I'm not even going to say they're going to be one or the other. I'm convinced that by the time that K-State gets down to Austin, they're going to be 1-5.
Oh.
You got to beat Texas. You have to preserve being in the middle of the Big 12. If you lose Texas in Austin, as bad as they are, that's not going to be good. All right. And finally, the third right or wrong, Mr. Justin Silman, or any other K-State running back, but Justin Silman, has his second 100-yard rushing game of 2015. Does he get it done? Right or wrong?
I've got to go right, and I think it's purely based on the fact that they're going to keep the ball away from Oklahoma State. They're going to hold the ball till next Tuesday. They're going to keep this Oklahoma State offense off the field, and you're going to have to run the ball, whether it's with Hubner, whether it's with Silman, whether it's with Jones, Dalvin Warmack. You're all hands on deck. Gronk! All hands on deck at this point for the running game.
And I also have to say, right, first of all, I don't think that we have seen Justin Silman's potential yet.
No, not at all.
Oklahoma State has a very good rushing defense. They have one of the best in the Big 12. And I'm not disputing that. But I do think that Justin Silman is that good. And I think that this offensive line, although they've had their struggles, is up there. And I think they're going to get it done. Look, Hubner's not really going to run the ball. They're afraid to do that. They don't want to hurt him. We don't have the depth back there. Dimmel is really only effective in really short yardage situations. Charles Jones is not there for K-State, and Dalvin Warmack hasn't been given an opportunity to really prove himself. Silman's the guy. Silman, I think, is going to have another big game. All right, so we're going to come back. We're going to give you our picks with our very special guest, and we're going to close it up with our players of the week and our prediction for K-State and Oklahoma State. We'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back to the K-State Collegiate Sports Vlog, and we're joined by a very special guest, our golf beat writer, Mr. Riley Dees. Riley, how you doing?
Good, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing okay. All right, we're going to go through our picks for this week, and then we're going to hit up our players of the game to watch, and then finally our score predictions for K-State at Oklahoma State. All right, first one we're going to do the big Big 12 game of the week, West Virginia at Oklahoma. Andrew, who you got?
I have the Oklahoma Sooners winning this game. This Oklahoma team, I'm confident in what they can do with their new offensive coordinator, new quarterback, that win at Tennessee really boosted them.
All right, Riley, who you got?
I'm going to go with Oklahoma, too. Baker Mayfield's been a heck of a player over these last few games for the Sooners, so I got to go with Oklahoma.
If I can quote a Mr. Coach Lee Corso, not so fast.
What?
I got West Virginia,
Oh?
the best scoring defense in the country. They got a solid quarterback in Skyler Howard. They can run the ball. They don't let people throw the ball or run the ball. I like this West Virginia team to win the conference. They're that good. You heard it here first. No, you didn't. You've heard many people say it. All right. Next game, we got Alabama at Georgia.
Uh-huh.
Bama heading down.
Oh.
First time playing Georgia since that.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. No,
When
2012.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
I was
SEC
thinking regular season game when Georgia was number 1 in the country and
Right.
choked it against Alabama. You know what? I've got Georgia. I've got Georgia winning this game. I think Alabama, I said at the beginning of the year, Alabama's going to lose 3 games. This is actually going to be one of those games. So I've got Georgia beating Alabama. God, Paul Feinbaum show is going to be fantastic.
I'm so excited. Riley, what about you?
I gotta go with Alabama. A lot of people are jumping off the Bama bandwagon so quick, and not really sure why, to be honest with you. I really like Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide to win this one.
I gotta go with Andrew here. I also have the Dogs of Georgia. They're always a mean, nasty.
Yeah,
group.
but can Mark Richt actually put it together for one game?
I think so.
Okay,
I think so.
that
Just
works.
because I really think that this is a rebuilding year for Alabama. I don't think they're going to win the conference.
That's fair.
This year, I don't think they're going to win the West. I don't think they're going to be second in the West, and they're probably looking at third.
Bama fans, if you want to send hate mail,
Do
goes
it.
to him.
I don't get a lot of mail. I'll welcome them. I'll welcome the mail. All right,
Okay.
Third game. We're going to head up to Big Ten country. The game that a lot of press for them trying to get game day up in Bloomington. We got
For
Ohio
basketball?
State. No, football.
Oh,
Ohio State at Indiana.
okay.
They got a football team.
They do. What you got?
Ohio State, not even close.
Okay.
I can't disagree. I don't know what the score is going to be, but I don't know. Until Ohio State gets beat, got to go with the Buckeyes.
Jordan Howard. All right, remember that name. He is the top rusher in the NCAA right now. I'm putting Ohio State on upset alert against Indiana. I like the Hoosiers. I might be crazy. All
He
right.
is.
Next game, Ole Miss is heading down to the swamp
Okay.
to take on Florida. You got Ole Miss.
I,
You got
lo-
the Gators.
I love Hugh Freeze. I love Chad Kelly, but go Gator.
All right. Put that.
Props.
Hotty toddy, man. You got to
What?
go with Ole Miss. They are impressive.
Whatever.
I got the Rebels.
Hotty toddy indeed. They might be the best team in the country right now.
Accurate.
They talking about coming out of nowhere. I thought that they were going to be down, but tell you what, Chad Kelly has this team rolling. I got Ole Miss as well. All right, Mississippi State going into College Station to take on Texas A&M. You got the Aggies, or you got Mississippi State.
I like the Aggies in this game. I think this game is probably going to be in the 40s, but yeah, give me the Aggies.
I'm going to take Texas A&M. Be real honest with you, I don't have an exact reason. I just think
Just
Texas
take
A&M
it.
is gonna win
Just-
this game.
But I don't like Texas A&M. I've never liked Texas A&M.
You don't like the Yell Eaters?
No, I don't like anything about Texas A&M. I was happy when Texas beat them whenever they left the conference. I always pick against them.
Okay.
I don't like losing, though.
Okay.
And every time I pick against them, I have failed. So I pick in Texas A&M.
Okay.
And I'm waiting for that to bite me square in the rear. And
Okay.
then finally, the game that game day, college game day is
Okay.
at. They are in Clemson, South Carolina to see Notre Dame.
North Notre Dame?
North Notre Dame.
North Notre
The
Dame.
Fighting Irish taking on the Clemson Tigers. Who you
Okay.
got?
This hurts me, guys. You guys know I've been a Notre Dame fan since I was a kid.
Now we were aware that you were stricken with that affliction.
I'm sorry.
You know what? Don't be a hater. I've got Clemson winning this game. They go on the road. It's going to be cold. It's going to be nasty. This rushing game from Notre Dame. They had some issues last week against UMass of all people. Give me Clemson winning this one.
I've got to go with Notre Dame. I liked Notre Dame before the injuries. I liked them last week, and they got it done. So until they prove me wrong, I got to keep going with the Irish.
I'm also taking Clemson. They have lost so much up in South Bend. It's just, if they were full strength, I would say that Clemson's due for a Clemsoning, but I think it's a little too early in the season for a Clemsoning. I will take the Tigers. All right. Player to watch in K-State, Oklahoma State. Who you got?
I'm going to go Will Davis, linebacker. They're going to need that second level of the defensive unit to come up big because, you saw what Louisiana Tech did. Elijah Lee, he's another name to watch for, but I think Will Davis is going to be big because he's gotten his hand on a few interceptions, or almost interceptions, so far this year, so maybe this is the week he finally gets one.
Riley?
I'm going to go with Cody Whitehair on the offensive line. We don't know yet about Boston Syverson. Going to be back, maybe not be back. We don't know yet. But this offensive line needs help. They've been struggling a little bit. So if Cody Whitehair can get it together, possibly get it to the rest of the offensive line, it'd be good for the Wildcats.
Both solid picks. I'm going to go with a Mr. Kendall Adams and a Mr. Nate Jackson. I'm going to pick two just because the secondary is going to be tested, and they both have been picked on a lot early in the season. Jeff Driscoll kind of tore them apart. They need to be better in order for K-State to beat Oklahoma State, and that's why I got my eye on those two inexperienced secondary members. All right, score prediction, Oklahoma State, K-State, who you got, and what's the score?
Oklahoma State 34, Kansas State 21.
Oh, yeah.
Picking against the Cats, I think K-State's going to get it done. Like Andrew said, I think they're going to hold on to the ball a little bit, keep the clock down. I'm going to go K-State 27, Oklahoma State 17.
Interesting. The last few games in Stillwater have been really, really good. Of course, you got the 2011 game where Colin Klein was at the goal line to beat what ended up being the Big 12 champions. Couldn't get it done. You got 2013 where Daniel Sams intercepted and fumbled his way into us losing that game in Stillwater when they could have gotten it done. I think offense again is going to be the problem here for K-State. I don't think they have enough horses to pull it off, but it's going to be super close. I have Oklahoma State 31, K-State 24.
Okay.
We'll go 24. All right. From all of us here at the K-State Collegiate Sports VOA, we hope that you have a good week and a good sports weekend. Get out there and watch some great games this week. Have a good week.